relatives came to their house here on Lawndale to check on them because they hadn't heard from them since Sunday. They had to alert firefighters to come out here to say that they needed to check on possible carbon monoxide poisoning. When firefighters did arrive, they had to force their way into the house. Relatives grieve as they hear the horrifying news of what lay within this locked house.
Inside, the officers found the bodies of 3 people.
35-year-old Stefan, his 30-year-old wife Adriana, and their 17-year-old niece Daniela, all dead.
It appears that Stefan, who was being treated for mental illness, killed both his niece and his wife and then committed suicide.
Relatives and neighbors describe this family as loving and church-going.
You hear people say, perfect family, you know. From what I seen when they were outdoors, they were. I mean, he was a really nice guy. His wife was a really nice lady.
Tonight, police continue trying to unravel the mystery of this apparent murder-suicide. As Commander Klein mentioned, Stefan Peptinar was being treated for mental illness. Among his maladies related to that, hallucinations. Inside the house tonight, officers also found phone and power lines cut from inside the house. Of course, the investigation into this apparent murder-suicide continues tonight. Reporting live, I'm Judy Garcia for Channel 7 News. Diane, back to you.
Judy, also in Chicago, police tonight are trying to determine if an 11-year-old boy was shot by accident or on purpose. Nigel McKinney was wounded last night on the back porch of his apartment building in the 4800 block of West Adams. He then crawled up the back steps to his apartment and then died. Nigel was found by a cousin who lived with him. Police don't know right now if Nigel was a gang member, but he was reportedly friends with gang members. But one of his teachers says Nigel hoped to become a police officer when he grew up. Well, Channel 7 News has learned tonight that some safe deposit boxes at a major Loop bank are anything but safe. 60 boxes have been robbed at the First Star Bank on Michigan Avenue. So far, investigators are baffled, but they now believe the robberies may be the work of a real pro. Police want to talk to one customer in particular who over the last year made an unusually high number of visits to the safe deposit box room. But that customer now appears to have disappeared. All but one of the thefts involves boxes held by jewelry dealers. The stolen items include semi-precious gems and unset diamonds, estimated to be worth more than $500,000. How the thief knew which boxes belonged to jewelers is not known, but it does indicate that it might be partly an inside job, even though bank employees have passed polygraph tests.
Diane, in politics tonight, First Lady Hillary Clinton is in Chicago raising money and motivating potential voters. It's Mrs. Clinton's first time back in Chicago since the Democratic convention in August. Her evening began with a fundraiser in Winnetka, but it's wrapping up with a Get Out the Vote rally at Plumbers Hall. Channel 7's John Garcia is there with the latest. John?
John, actually, the First Lady left here just a few moments ago from the Plumbers Hall. She spoke for about 20 minutes before somewhere around 1,000 Democratic supporters. She was introduced to the crowd by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who is celebrating his 55th birthday tonight. And that, of course, did not escape the notice of the First Lady, who presented him with a birthday cake before she left to help him celebrate. And she said she's hoping that all Democrats will be celebrating 4 weeks from today. The rally is designed as a get-out-the-vote effort for the president and for other Democratic candidates. And First Lady Hillary Clinton is among friends in her hometown at this rally, and she knows it.
Now is no time to change directions. Now is no time to turn the clock back on an economic strategy that is working. It is working for men, it is working for women, and most importantly, it is working to build the kind of strong economy that our children deserve to have in the future.
If the goal is to gain support from the women of Illinois for the Democratic ticket, the party's internal polling numbers suggest the effort is already a huge success. Female voters support Clinton by a margin of 60 to 28. By contrast, Clinton's lead over Dole with men is much closer, 45 to 37. And overall, the figure is 51 to 33. But the Republican National Chairman says these numbers are nothing new to this race.
The gender gap is not new. It's something we've seen in Poland for 15 or 20 years. Clearly, men are more Republican than women. Women are more Democratic than men.
And the First Lady is intent on helping the president exploit those figures financially as well. Before the rally, she attended a private fundraiser in Winnetka for wealthy and influential Democratic women. And Mrs. Clinton is now on her way to downstate Jefferson County. She has a rally scheduled tomorrow morning in Mount Vernon, so she'll spend the night there tonight. Reporting live from the near west side, John Garcia, Channel 7 News. John, back to you.
And John, Republican candidate Bob Dole will be stumping for votes in the Chicago area tomorrow, and a change in the tone of his campaign may be imminent. Dole has indicated he may have been too soft on the president in their first debate. He expects to challenge more aggressively in their second get-together. And while campaigning in New Jersey today, Dole gave another hint he may have decided to stop being a nice guy. That Dole response to a supporter in the crowd didn't amuse the real bozo the clown. The actor who first played him called the remark demeaning. A Dole spokesman says it was just a light moment. Diane?
Well, John, in Chicago, it looks like the city is about to boost the tax on downtown parking. If the mayor's budget passes, the tax would be raised in the central city and also going down in many neighborhoods. One alderman says the idea is to boost business growth in the communities. The current tax is $1.25 across the board. Under the new plan, the tax will be eliminated for people who pay less than $2 to park. For parking fees between $2 and $5, the tax would be 75 cents. And for rates above $5, it means in virtually all of downtown, the tax goes up a quarter. If approved, it goes into effect January 1st.
Grocery, yes! No! Grocery, yes!
Some Rogers Park residents and merchants held a rally tonight to protest a planned movie theater in their North Side community. They support a proposal to build a supermarket at Howard and Clark, but they fear a theater there would bring gang violence and other criminal activity and put a newly remodeled nearby movie house out of business.
Well, Diane, Chicago honors heroes from the ranks of men and women known as the city's finest. Dozens of stories of bravery are told by Police Superintendent Mad Rodriguez and Fire Commissioner Ray Orozco. Most police officers and firefighters who won awards accepted them in person. Others who died while on duty were represented by their families. One honoree, firefighter James Pendraza, risked his life to pull a man from a blazing building. He says he was only doing his job.
Well, straight ahead tonight, the Olympic bombing suspect. He's questioned again for hours on end.
Plus, the latest on the Pope's recovery from surgery. Later, a high-tech learning tool for suburban police. It just might save their lives. Our special segment, Police at Risk, is still ahead.
When it comes to my son's health care, there's really only one choice. Children's. They are the #1 kid specialist in the Midwest.
For health plans that include children's, call 1-800-KIDS-DOC.
Your own private cabin on British Airways First doesn't just give you the best night's sleep in the air. It gives you all the privacy you could dream of.
They would not, however, comment.
The book on Richard Jewell so that he can begin to restore his life and the FBI can begin to find the bomber.
Jewell says he just wants to get his life back to normal. An 8th grader charges racial discrimination and slaps the school that suspended her with a lawsuit. Kimberly Smart returned to class in a limo today, and she was all smiles after facing a 4-month suspension. Her school in Ohio agreed to allow the 14-year-old to return early after suspending her for giving a classmate the pain reliever Midol. The classmate, who is white, got only a 9-day suspension. Smart is suing the school for discrimination, but she says she's glad she can go back.
Happy that I'm coming back, and really I don't care what everyone says. I just wanted to be back.
Tonight, the school is not commenting on the lawsuit.
If you have an automatic garage door opener, you'll want to hear this story. A new study finds that the reversing mechanisms on door openers made before 1993 may not work properly. That could put you or your children at risk for serious injury or even death. Only 60% of the 50 doors that were tested appeared to reverse properly when they came in contact with an obstruction. The test they were using used mannequins, but they show that injuries could result due to the malfunctions.
Still ahead in medicine tonight, a link between smoking and blindness.
It was supposed to be Princess Diana caught on tape in a compromising position. Now it turns out it was all a hoax.
It was 125 years ago this night. Chicago's Great Fire started burning. We'll look back at how it changed Chicago forever.
And Paul Douglas has more gloomy days ahead.
There's still little known about the disease. Is there a possibility I can still contract it a year and a half later?
Killer diseases, particularly AIDS, create a new worry for police. Police often deal with hostile people. Something as minor as a bite or a scratch could prove fatal if a suspect is infected with a deadly disease.
Here we are at the 21st century, the millennium's upon us, and we have a plague, a blood plague. And this is something that people that deal with blood and deal with death and deal with danger have to be very conscious about.
Enter computer technology to educate police about bloodborne diseases such as AIDS. It is training required by federal and state agencies. An interactive course called Bloodborn Pathogens is on CD-ROM and being used by several suburban police departments.
Keep in mind that you may know a person well and not know if he or she is infected. In truth, an individual may not know himself. Err on the side of caution.
It allows us the opportunity to do training on duty in kind of a personalized format in that you can repeat the training, you can review it at your leisure, you can review parts of it that you may not be you may not have retained.
Blue Line Learning Group of Schaumburg markets the CD-ROM. It's the brainchild of retired Illinois State Police Sergeant Jack Phillips, who sees it as a potential lifesaver for police.
They come in contact with blood in various ways, and they are highly susceptible to contracting or at least being exposed to viruses that are potentially life-threatening.
Among precautions for police, maintain a safe distance between yourself and a prisoner, use long-handled mirrors and flashlights to search hidden areas such as under car seats, and wear protective gloves when there's exposure to blood. The training comes none too soon for some officers.
We've been very lucky, but as the incidents where officers come in contact with bodily fluids or blood, the risk is very high.
I wish I could have viewed this before all this happened. It would have answered a lot of the questions for me.
The Communicable Diseases Center in Atlanta tells us there are no confirmed cases of AIDS contracted by police officers from work-related duties. But the spokesman points out that the incubation period for AIDS is about 10 years.
Well, John, new research offers smokers one more reason to quit. A Harvard study reports that people who smoke a pack a day double the likelihood they might be blind when they get older. Smoking can cause a degeneration that impairs the vision of an estimated 1 million Americans. Smoking is already blamed for promoting cataracts, another major loss of vision among the elderly. Well, the flu season may come sooner than expected this season, and the Centers for Disease Control is predicting a bigger outbreak this year than we've seen in ages. And it's urging people to get flu shots. The shots ought to be given every year since the vaccines changed to combat new strains of the disease. Older folks and chronically ill people, including kids, are especially urged to get shots.
I don't know what this has to do with the weather, but there's a gnat in the studio that Diane tried to kill earlier.
Well, he's not going to go outside.
Maybe that's it. It's warm in here and it's comfortable.
I don't think anybody wants to go outside. It is kind of flu season out there the last couple of days, and it looks like it'll continue to be cool tomorrow and Thursday. The good news is by the end of the week, we do have some warmer air headed this way. We could actually touch 70 degrees before the weekend is over, but today we only touched 50. 17 degrees below the normal high of 67, the low was 46. And now it's already dropped to 41 at O'Hare, 50 at the lake, 47 Midway, Joliet 41, Lisle 42. The wind north at 7 and the humidity high at 93%, although a good portion of the clouds now and rain that we had earlier have moved off to the east. We have partly cloudy skies around Chicago, but there is another system that will bring in more clouds tomorrow afternoon and another threat of showers late tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Here's a look at the Doppler radar over the past 4 hours, and you can see all the rain now moving off to the east of us. This is just interference around the antenna, so we don't have to worry about rain for the rest of tonight. Now, 24 hours ago on the 10 o'clock news last night, we had Tropical Storm Josephine just off the Florida coast, and as John mentioned, it's spread quite a bit of rain up the East Coast during the day. Look how rapidly this system moved to the northeast, and it's all the way up in New England right now. So there's all the rain, and those of you that follow baseball know that the game was canceled in New York tonight because of the heavy rains, and that will continue to move to the northeast. We have cool air, but we have another approaching front that will give us some clouds tomorrow afternoon, and actually late afternoon, evening, we will see a couple more showers in the area, and then cooler air again pushing in for Thursday. But as John mentioned, we do have warm air out to the west, and eventually some of that will creep into the area over the weekend. 102 in Phoenix, the high today, 94 in San Francisco, and only 50 degrees here in Chicago. Now, tomorrow we will see temperatures once again in the 50s, and you can see some of this warmer air attempting to head east for the weekend. Tonight, partly cloudy and chilly, overnight lows 45 in the city, 40 inland. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, chance for a shower late. High temperature tomorrow, only 58. Normal high, 67. Partly sunny on Thursday with a high of 53. And as John mentioned, we should top 60 on Friday. And as John mentioned earlier, we could see 70 degrees over the weekend. So certainly...
I didn't say all that. I know I didn't say all that. I didn't even mention the weather.
It looks good for the weekend.
As John mentioned.
Well, as Jerry told you earlier, the latest chapter in the Royals versus the British tabloids go to Princess Diana, thanks to a hoax videotape. That tape had all of London abuzz yesterday, as you'll recall, after the tabloid The Sun reported the tape showed Princess Diana frolicking with one-time love James Hewitt. Now the paper says it was duped by two con men. They're calling it one of the most elaborate hoaxes of the decade. The new publicity doesn't seem to faze the princess. She made no mention of the tape as she helped out and cut the ribbon for a new AIDS hospice in London.
I'm sure her attorneys will be mentioning that.
I think so. Well, as Jerry mentioned earlier, after a break, tonight's Illinois lottery results.
And later some call it trash, but kids have another.
Settle down. Just settle down. I'm Art Giangreco. Coming up in sports, athletes and fans falling down all over the place. It must be sports shorts. Stay with us.
Listen, Candace, we know what you're going through. Ever since Sprint launched their Diamond Minute rate, people just won't leave you alone. And now we hear Sprint's really turning up the heat.
Now you can get 10 cents a minute 24 hours a day to the number you call the most.
So if you're watching, Candace, my advice is go long and never come back.
I'd ask to be traded to another city.
I got it. Assume a whole new identity.
Hey, now there's an idea.
Bears fans, call now and get a limited edition NFL phone card.
Southwest Airlines to Providence, New England's convenient gateway.
We used race car tricks to make Stratus stick. Now we're performing similar tricks with a truck, the new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises. Neon taught us that cars can be fun. Now we're having fun again, playing a slightly different game. The new Dodge Dakota. It's full of surprises.
What you gonna do with all the cash you save?
Brakes need work? Stop at your local CarX. You'll save a bundle during our half-off brake sale. Like